I became so focused on wanting the mountain moved that I forgot about gazing on the one who is the mountain mover. Hey everyone, welcome to Worship with Cheena. I'm Cheena, and I want to share with you a testimony of how encountering perfect love became a lifestyle of mine and why worship, the secret place, intimacy with the Lord is so important. It was about 8 years ago that I went through a very difficult, challenging, hard season. I faced a lot of health challenges, and because of that, I was gripped with fear and anxiety. I was desperate for a move of God and for Him to completely demolish and remove that mountain. I became so focused on that my secret place times became more fixed on getting out of the situation than actually loving Him. I became so focused on wanting the mountain moved that I forgot about gazing on the one who is the mountain mover. I got so focused on wanting freedom, I forgot to love the one who is freedom, and I forgot to gaze on the one who is Prince of Peace. You know, they say what you focus on becomes magnified, and our brains are actually wired that way. So whatever you focus on becomes magnified. So the mountain in front of me actually got bigger because I was focusing on that instead of Him. So it was in that season that Jesus so tenderly and beautifully wooed my heart and drew me near to Him, and He began to bring me back to first love, and He rebuilt the foundation of my life on His love, and He rewrote my history with His love. So I began to listen to teachings about the secret place and intimacy and adoration and worship. I started to attend a school of ministry that prioritizes His presence and focuses on intimacy. And my times with the Lord began to shift, and the secret place began to shift, and I began to focus on Him and began to shift my gaze on Him and worship Him and adore Him. And in those times, He would encounter me. I would have visions, and I would see the Lord so beautifully. He would reveal His kindness, His nature, His beauty, His character. And 1 John 4:18 says, perfect love casts out fear, and His love literally loved the fear out of me. And He one by one would address certain lies and replace it with His truth, the truth of Him and who He is. And He would break down walls, any hindrances that were between us, and it would all happen in this place, the secret place, and communing with Him. And so my gaze began to shift, and my time with the Lord began to become communing time with Christ, that my goal became to just be with Him, to just know Him more, and in knowing Him more, becoming more in love with Him, because how can you not when you see more of who He is? You can't help but fall more in love with Him. And then I became more aware of my union with Christ, and that He abides in me and I abide in Him. Christ in me, the hope of glory. In Him I live and move and have my being. I also began to learn the value of beholding and how powerful beholding is, and fixing my eyes on His nature, His character, the names of God. And so in beholding, we become. When we behold, we become transformed. And in 2 Corinthians 3:16 through 18, it says, but when one turns to the Lord, the veil is removed. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And we all, with unveiled face, beholding the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. And so it was an internal shifting and an internal focus and gaze upon the Lord that I made. We now have continual access to the Lord because of the finished work of Christ, that what He did on the cross we can go to him whenever. He tore that veil of separation, which is so beautiful and so powerful. And so as I beheld him, as I would fixate on him and worship and adore, he would encounter me and I would become transformed. The fruit of the encounters with perfect love was healing and breakthrough. And I experienced freedom, and I actually experienced healing in my body through these encounters. And so the power of beholding, as we gaze upon the one who is love, we become love. As we gaze upon the one who is peace, we become peace. We become transformed in his presence. And beholding him was so important that he actually prayed to the Father. Jesus prayed, John 17:24, Father, I desire that they also, whom you gave me, may be with me where I am, that they may behold my glory, which you have given me. It's so important to seek his face. That there's other scriptures. First Chronicles 16:11 says to seek his face always. Psalm 27:4 says, one thing that I ask, this is what I seek, I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, and behold the beauty of the Lord. That's one of my favorite scriptures. What is the beauty of the Lord? We hear that a lot. Yes, he is majestic. He's glorious. He's clothed in splendor. He is beautiful. But who he is beautiful. The nature of who he is, the character. And when you think about the names of God speak to who God is. And so all of who he is beautiful, is captivating, is fascinating. And so it was in this place of contemplating his beauty, adoration, worship, beholding him, focusing, coming back to the pure goal of him in the secret place. And that's where transformation happened in my life, and freedom and breakthrough and healing. And this is the reason why Worship with Cheena YouTube channel exists. I pray that this is a place where you can come, worship him, adore him, fix your gaze on him, linger in his presence, encounter the one who is perfect love, experience him, come to the experiential knowledge of Christ. And as you encounter him, that you would be undone in his beauty and in his goodness and be transformed.